Warning, this podcast is intended for mature audiences only. It contains adult language, themes, and humor. Everything said here is for comedic and satirical purposes only. It is not to be taken literally, and nothing in the show should be used as a basis for legal proceedings or real-world actions. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Welcome back to another episode of Slightly Offensive. My name is Elijah Schaefer. I have good news for you guys. As I was gone for like 6 months and we're coming back in with these pilot episodes getting launched, I'm proud to announce the entire right-wing media industry is falling apart. Every company is falling apart. Views are down across the board. People are just not interested, as well as I'm not that interested. And so we're going to try to keep this show, as always, just a little bit offensive, maybe slightly offensive, and talk about the things that are important because the world doesn't make sense. We're talking about two important topics, mainly today. The Karmelo Anthony trial deliberates tomorrow, we believe. Mm-hmm. And we have some interesting updates as well as protests and some criticisms of the things that have been going on in this state. Plus, also, we do need to make Georgie feel uncomfortable in the chat. So tonight, if you can, make him feel unwelcome. Hey! Put some your unwelcomes in the chat. You're an Indian in the chat. We love that.
Yeah, we're also talking about the Nowak protest.
Protest. Welcoming in the studio. It's just Georgie and I today. Nikki is sick today, and our other guest, it just didn't make sense to have him on today. So I'd rather just kind of do a solo show. When there's not a lot to talk about, we talk about whatever, if you're new to the show. And we've been around for a long time, and we come and go, and we're back, baby. Georgie, welcome back.
Hey, everybody. It's Georgie. Good to be back. Got to put my tag on. There we go. Fucking motherfucker. Yeah, it's good to be back. Thanks to our Clippers, Groiper Firestick, and US_Monarch for everything you guys are doing. Thank you very much. It's going to be a good show today. It's a little slow this week. It's been a little slow for the last couple of months, but we're doing our best here.
Shout out Groiper Firestick as well for hitting 1,000 followers. 1,000. So he started out with like no followers, started clipping for a couple months, and already got 1,000 followers. Quick way to grow to clip the show. All right, so we got an update on the Karmelo Anthony situation, and essentially here in Frisco's broken up. Frisco is where the Austin Metcalf situation happened, is broken up into two counties, split by a highway called the Dallas Tollway. We'll talk about the Dallas Tollway a little bit later. Some very interesting things. We're getting new autobahns in Texas. This is not a joke. You're legitimately getting autobahns in the state, which is kind of very Texan. You know, no speed limit. You can do whatever you want on the road. This is not a joke. This is actually happening right now. But on that new autobahn, we are having on the right side is Collin County. On the left side is Denton. And essentially, we're in Denton County. Collin County is where that is. But it turns out that this case is actually increasing its national place on what's going on, because originally it was just local news stations, but now everyone kind of wants to know what's happening. Here's an update from Fox News. Watch.
Hi, Martha. At any moment, we are expecting some sort of update. That's because these jurors were let out on a lunch break. When they came back, there was a delay for more than an hour where they didn't let the jurors and reporters back in the courtroom. Reporters outside the courtroom said they saw prosecutors go in and out, and Austin Metcalf's mother and father also go inside the courtroom. Just a few minutes ago, jurors and reporters were allowed back in. Refreshing my phone here, we have our producer also all on standby, waiting to find out what this delay was all about. But Anthony is charged with murder after admitting to stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf in the chest during a high school track meet last year. Investigators say the confrontation started after Anthony was sitting under a tent belonging to Metcalf's team. Witnesses testified that Metcalf repeatedly asked him to leave. One witness said that Anthony was asked to leave about 15 times. So far, the defense has called up 6 witnesses, including one teen who said this during cross-examination, quote, "I think Karmelo was in the wrong." Prosecutors asked, did Karmelo Anthony provoke the confrontation? He answered yes. And on the prosecution side, jurors heard from more than a dozen student witnesses who described Anthony as the aggressor, including an 18-year-old student athlete. This was important testimony because he knew both Anthony and Metcalf and even previously hung out with Anthony. He testified, quote, "Anthony said, 'You will have to move me.' Austin put his hands on his back. I saw Carmelo's hand go in the backpack. We're at a track meet. I wouldn't expect anything to be in there. Karmelo said, 'Touch me. You'll have to move me,' and find out, trying to provoke me again." We are just waiting to find out what that delay is. As soon as we have that answer, we will bring it to you, Martha.
All right, Brooke, thank you very much. Let's bring in Josh Ritter, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, and Fox News contributor. Josh, obviously, Brooke is waiting. We're all waiting to figure out what this delay is as we wait for the defense to continue their part of this case. Any thoughts on what might be happening here?
At this point in the trial, my first instinct was perhaps they're talking to Karmelo Anthony about whether or not he wants to testify. And sometimes that takes some time. He has to confer with his attorneys, even if it's at the last moment, him making a decision. The judge also has to advise him of his rights that he has.
Great. So we have a pretty interesting situation here where the information that came out is very clear that Karmelo Anthony is the aggressor. And the prosecutory attorney made a very big mistake here, a very big mistake, where he actually tried to make an argument today, I believe, that Karmelo Anthony is not responsible for the murder because Austin Metcalf fell on his blade and impaled himself. Very weak argument, very strange argument, very grotesque argument. And it comes down to the fact that, like, that's a very weak prosecution that is not going to appeal to jurors. There are no black jurors on the jury board, like the board of juries. That's not even what you say, but there are no black jurors. But, you know, sometimes you think about this. Sometimes white people are just the stupidest people ever when it comes to blacks. Like, they really think that blacks just need some economic welfare. It's like, hey, listen, buddy. God put an entire desert between sub-Saharan Africans and the rest of the country that they could not travel past with their technology to save us all the headache of having to live with these people. Okay? These people, in and of themselves, are extremely, extremely, extremely underdeveloped cognitively, we'll say. They have brain hindrance, because we're on YouTube, we'll just call it that. They don't think like us. They can't integrate with us. They will never be like us. And the problem is, that shot's pretty bright. Yeah. The problem is, the entire world now, the entire world of America, as we've said many times before, is how you can earn enough money to not live with the consequences of the civil rights movement while struggling to make enough money to not live with the civil rights movement's consequences, simply because the civil rights consequences have made it harder as a white person to get a good paying job, okay? And that's just true. From women's rights to black rights, it is just becoming ultimately one of the most difficult situations particularly for the white man, particularly for the American man. And now you have these black kids come to your school and they kill your son. And I have to ask the question, how many dead white people was it worth to make sure that blacks, you know, can steal from our convenience stores? You know, and you look at these laws and these rules that you're trained and you're taught of by these individuals that are absolutely boomers. They're lost. And they're like, you know, I just don't know why there was segregation. And then you see public restrooms that blacks use. You see what the drinking fountains look like that blacks use today. You see what a Target looks like that blacks use if it's still in business. And you go, oh, maybe they do need their own stores. Maybe they do need their own drinking fountains. Maybe they shouldn't be at our track meets. And it's like, well, but it makes them feel unkind. They don't like that. I don't think they actually cared, to be completely honest. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any evidence they actually cared that much. And if you even look at all of history, if you're a black person, you're very upstanding and you're intelligent, one of the rare ones, you weren't treated like the ones that are the way they act today. At the very least, you probably make it into the House if you were in the South. And in the North, you could move down to the South and even own slaves, actually. Yeah. A lot of blacks did. So
I think blacks just don't like being told no. It's not really about being with us in our sports and in our communities. It's more about the fact that they can't makes them want to. You know, it's like a baby with candy. You know, you hold a lollipop in front of their face and they can't have it. They're going to cry. It's like, that's what blacks are.
Yeah. You ever seen that one interview? I want to play it right now if we have it. I think I have it from GB News, and it's one of the best. Let me see, GB News. Let me type this in. GB News. Give me that. Here we go. This is one of my favorite. It's an old interview, and it's so good. And where is it, by the way? I
feel like Twitter search sucks.
Yeah, let me go to YouTube real fast. It's an African, and he's being interviewed. And, dude, why is this oh, well, it's GB News, so they're going to just give us shit. Going to give us just shit. Like, everything that's important is censored, like to such an extent, you can't even find, like, things that make blacks look bad unless you're keeping up in the moment, right? And it's like, okay, so it's just a black guy, and they've obviously covered it, and it's not anywhere to be found. It used to be very open.
While you're just talking about
but it's a black guy, and they're like, so why are you here in the UK? It's like, because you're going to give me that umbrella, that house, give me that cell phone, just give me that, you know. And the guy's like, you just want people to give things to you? Like, you just want to be given things? He's like, yeah, pretty much. It's like, that's their mindset. That's the mindset of these people, you know? And it's like, I can't even eat at Waffle House past 1 anymore. It's scary. And I feel afraid. That being said, the Black Panthers showed up at the courthouse, which is interesting. Check this out. Karmelo Anthony trial update. The Black Panthers have shown up in uniform.
Look at these chuds.
At least our movement's not the only movement that's been hurting recently.
Enhance. Look at that. Just LARP. It's like Wignats, but black. They're just LARPing. I didn't even know the Black Panthers still existed.
Oh, just like the Hells Angels exist. You know, it's just sort of like a LARP these days, and you get kind of tired of it.
It's like Patriot Front. They look like Patriot Front, but black. Look at their stance.
Well, Patriot Front's actually pretty
on.
fit.
Look, he's got gloves on.
Patriot Front's pretty fit, though. They're all pretty in shape.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Take that off. Take that shit off.
Obviously, it's a little cringe. I mean, we have a lot of videos from the protests outside of the Collin County Courthouse. This one, there's a few of these, so bear with us, but just blackness on display, niggertry on display. Check this out.
Yeah, well, this is Turning Point USA. I try not to use them as a source. This is Savannah Hernandez. This is my old producer. It was your old job. Savannah.
Rip.
And I just don't like playing her videos. I think she should be at home with her kid, you know, not be like getting beat up in the streets. I don't know what she's doing.
It's a good video,
check this out.
Only good cracker is a dead cracker. 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 Only good cracker is a dead.
To be honest, though, I don't know who's more annoying in this video, Jake Lang or the Black. They're both acting the same.
Yeah.
Can we just like talk about this for a second in a way that we need to talk about? I didn't go to this protest because I'm kind of like death pilled with protest content, in that the closest thing we ever had to like a real civil rights clash in this country back after the civil rights was the BLM movement. That was cool. Okay. And we're not going to go into that. I talk about it a lot, but that was cool. Like that was organized government backed, foreign government backed chaos in the streets at levels you would have to be there to believe. I mean, you're talking 50 to 100,000 people showing up in cities and like 5 to 10,000 people rioting at any given time. And that is cool. Like objectively, like let's stop talking about protesting in terms of like left and right, and let's cool and uncool. Cool protests make change, okay? Burning down cities in like robbing Saks Fifth Avenue and doing things like beating the shit out of like Indian 7-Eleven workers and just like stealing Zins and like throwing them while you're like running around, you know, like I literally went to a bar, so cool, in Dallas, and all the blacks broke in and started like taking all the Hennessy and stuff, and they're twerking on the table, shining their flashlights while like cops are shooting people outside. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool situation. Bad for the country, but it's got aura. It's got a lot of aura. You know, it's like that's like that first protest that started BLM. I remember when I was like sitting there and I thought I was watching The Dark Knight. It's like the cops are like they're claiming that they've lost control of the city, and they're just surrounded by protesters doing donuts, driving with pepper ball guns and rubber bullet guns, hanging out the window with like no seatbelt on, like a friend holding their back, just popping people to break through. That's cool, okay? That's real shit. And so when you film that stuff and you show the country that stuff, it's like, wow, this is something serious. Something serious is happening here. Like, because you don't see that. You don't just see a cop just hanging out the window, like popping people with bullets just to make an opening. Like they're lighting people up unprovoked to just get through so they don't die. It's like, that's cool.
Yeah, and the cops do nothing because they're scared of the public outrage that comes with going after blacks at all in general.
Yeah, so you're saying blacks get lit up by cops like that in like a mass formation, like armored vehicles coming through and like just with hoses and shit, and you're like, this is cool. When I see Jake Lang just like walk up to that, like some dumb blacks, it's like, Jesus Christ hates the Muslims or something. It's like, dude, like you're just kind of agitating people. You're not really making a point. And like, is what Jake Lang doing any different than what like blacks do? Just like, so it's like any good cracker or dead cracker is a good cracker. The only good cracker is a dead cracker, whatever he said. It's like, bro, you got a low IQ black in like a tafungu or whatever they call that shit he's wearing. His wife has braids that she's been wearing since she was 4 years old, pulling on what was left of her prefrontal cortex and just disintegrating it, you know? So funny that they do their hair in a way that like stunts their brain growth. And it's like, that's boomer shit. That's why like Savannah, these people, I don't respect them anymore. They're just getting shit for boomers. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe blacks don't like whites. I'm like, well, have you ever just gone on a bus? Like, did you need to watch that clip or just gone on a bus? Yeah, blacks are pretty much generally unlikable, horrible ethnic group that is very destructive and the highest crime rate, and no one wants to live around them, including any black who's not like that. And that's why that's not racist. Any black who's not horrible, disgusting, and insufferable, their entire life goal, just like us, is to not live around blacks, okay? And then their whole goal, once they get around us, where it used to be, is like to act like they're not black. It's like, oh, well, hello there. And you're like, right. They always were very proper and whatnot. Like, good to see you. It's like
yeah, what happened
Fresh
to that?
Prince. Well, what happened to that is pop culture.
You think it was hip-hopnosis?
No, well, it is hip-hopnosis because what it was is the only rich blacks were actual blacks who could integrate into society and get jobs, and actually probably had to be more exceptional. That's why when people talk about, you know, oh, he's a brain surgeon and stuff, you're like, yeah, like we had anti-DEI in the beginning of the civil rights for the most part. It's like If you really wanted to be, think about this. If you really wanted to be a black doctor, and you're in a clinic, and you have white patients, and you see a black doctor, you would probably talk to the managing staff, right? You'd be like, hey, I don't want to be seen by this black doctor. Okay? I don't want to be seen by him. They go, listen, man, listen. Harvard is not bringing in black people. He had 5.0 in school. He, was like, he did mosquito transplants with brains when he was 21, got into med school above all else. They demoted him in the program. He had to go through twice. He graduated. He's like, has these papers. He's accomplished, bro. Like, you don't get it, dude. He's like actually exceptional. And so you'd be like, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll let a black work on me because there is probabilities that there's exceptional blacks out there. Yep. But what happens now is you see a black, it's both DEI and that. And when you saw a black integrated into society, you'd be like, he's probably smart or intelligent or well-connected or comes from a nice family or adopted. Mm-hmm. And then you see a black now, you go immediately, oh, they just got there because of DEI or because even if a black tells you he graduated from Harvard, I don't assume he's smart. I don't assume he's connected. I don't assume anything, and it's kind of like, what it is now is that's also an issue, but the main issue is this. When you saw a well-off black, it was because he was smart and he was a doctor or a lawyer or somebody and it was like, oh, he's a respectable black. Now there's a bunch of blacks that are rich because of rap music, podcasting, streaming, like shit that's like niggerdom. It glorifies the bad parts of who they are. And so people are like, well, that's why, why is LeBron James such a piece of shit? Why is he so mean and fucking aggressive and like terrible? And you're like, because he makes a lot of money throwing little pig balls around does not mean that he's like not just a nigga, So that's the case.
I think Obama kind of ruined things. Like him being president for 8 years, I think it made all the blacks extremely comfortable, and they stopped caring about trying to amount to their white man because they had a black president. I remember being a kid before Obama was elected, and things were a lot different in that way. Blacks, they were treated well still for the time period, but there was like a standard as a black person even that you have to be smart, you have to be intelligent if you want to succeed. There was like hip hop culture still, so that plagued most of their communities, but ultimately I think a lot of blacks at that point still had they had the vision for their futures in some way. They wanted to be a good, father, a good worker at some point, and somehow they all just got nigrified. And I think it was Obama's time period. It was trap music. It was, just hip hop overall became part of their culture so deeply that, if you try to separate from it, you get condemned by your own people. And so I think there's a pressure on black people generally to keep acting that way because their families, they all act that way. Everyone acts that way there in their communities. So
Here is again, though. Here is again.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Get my face on camera. We kill crackers. Where I come from, we kill them.
Africa?
And if I ever see you outside of Texas, you gonna have a problem. Yup. I'm gonna wrap you up in that flag and I'm gonna set it on fire. I like the smell of burning flesh, don't you? Don't you?
It's called Haiti. Haiti. Tires on the neck, light them on fire. South Africa.
Yeah.
See, the time of you having fear on us is over, cracker. It's over, cracker. We ain't scared of you.
Yeah.
We gonna do some Nat Turner shit on you, motherfuckers.
So I want to bring up an example from this.
Yeah.
People don't understand where white supremacist, white national groups come from. You know what's so fucked up about what happened to the Nat Sock people in Australia? So they're all going to go to prison probably. Mm-hmm. And Thomas Sewell.
Many of them already are.
Yeah, but like prison for a long time.
Yeah.
Because there was this communist group full of like Aboriginals and like dysgenic whites that when there was a pro-Australia march, I think it was put on by like Ozpill and them, mm-hmm. which by the way are going to become illegal very soon. They were coming down off this hill and like literally attacking them, like throwing rocks and attacking them. And the Nat Sox went up and destroyed their camp and knocked a couple of them out, right? Because the police wouldn't do anything about the left wing, it was really ethnic. It wasn't left wing. It was like a bunch of Aboriginals and people that were like, minority terrorists. And they literally went up to protect the marchers who were marching in on behalf of a white Australia, basically. And they are the ones that go to prison, not the people that were attacking them. They defend them. And you realize a lot of these white groups, including the KKK, were invented to really try to protect white society from itself. Like, I'm not joking. It's like you're protecting it from itself. You're saying like, look, everyone in society is dumb and they're naturally empathetic and they're going to want to try to like fix society in a way that will eventually hurt themselves. So we've got to make sure that we stand up and remind people that like the only reason why your society is good. And by the way, the easiest example of this is Japan. The reason why Japanese society is so good, people think, and they romanticize it, and the food is amazing. I eat Japanese food almost every day.
Yes,
they romanticize it, is because it is good. Now, I don't want to live there. It's like, well, why don't you move there if you like it so much? Because I know that Japanese society is Japanese and good because it's Japanese. Like even if a bunch of white people live there, I couldn't live there. Like I don't like their honor system. I don't like and I mean their honor system, like, you know, you can just like abuse employees. There's a lot of negative downsides to it. You know, they've kind of lost their sex culture. They used to be very sexual. They've lost a lot of that. So they're not having kids. They have a population decline. But it's like, dude, when you watch them like this day, they're like, we are not allowing Muslims to have cemeteries. They actually just banned that recently. We are a cremation country. We don't believe in Islam. And if Muslims want to bury their dead, then either ship them out of the country or don't be a Muslim here, because there's a lot of places you could be a Muslim. And they get that. It's like, if you want to be a Muslim, then be a Muslim. And they put stickers on their trains with warnings about monkeys dancing and stuff. You know, there's a level of like, they're part of the civilized world, so they can't just like be like, no blacks allowed to visit for tourism, but they're going to limit it. They're going to be afraid of it. And you see videos to this day of blacks in Japan, like threatening people, causing problems. Even that one streamer, they get it. And so it's like with white people, you look at Japanese culture and you're like, oh, Japanese,
you know what the stark difference is? It's the women in our societies. The women in American culture, they view themselves as greater than, or at the very least equal to or greater than men as a whole.
Better than. In
Japanese society, it's the opposite. They understand everyone has a position in society, the women specifically. They actually have interesting roles. They carry all the money in the family. The man will work for it, but they'll stay home, take care of the kids, and control the finances. But they understand that the man is the head of the household, and the man of the household would never let immigration into his country. What we did was let the women vote and let them have this mightier than thou feelings about themselves, and then they're voting against their best interest because they want to be good people. You know, they just want to be nice. They just want to be good people. They want to take care of everybody because they don't have any foresight. They don't understand, you know, how to look into the future and, you know, see the consequences of their actions. But in Japan, it's different. They're asking their husband, hey, how do I vote? You know, they're not doing that here.
No, they're not. And also not in Korea either. But what's kind of what's interesting about this stuff, since there's really no news, guys. Honestly, it's very boring.
Yeah, we're struggling here.
No, but I'm not. I can talk about anything all the time. People know me for a long time. And we also are having our first actual company meeting tomorrow, which is very nice. But what it is it's like in black culture, the reason why black culture is so bad in America, and I'm not doing a boomer take about because the women are in charge. It's like they're low IQ and they're raised by only women. Like no, everyone that's a boomer in the conservative movement. This is why I kind of want to like extend a hand to the boomer movement. Like being politically correct on the right is talking about true things that are controversial on the left or not politically correct as causes for symptoms, but they're secondary or tertiary, basically, you know, causes. So it's like, well, it's fatherless homes, and then the Wignats will be like, it's not fatherless homes; they're just stupid animals. You're like, okay, listen, man, both can be true. Okay, like, okay, listen, they're like low IQ, but like everybody knows a well-behaved dog, right? Like my kids were over today, and you know, Georgie, I would say I had a friend over in Georgie. It's like, in general, they're pretty well-behaved children, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like they actually are well-behaved children.
Very well-behaved.
They're boys, they scream, they run around, okay? But it's like, okay, they're around today, but they're well-behaved. They don't take without asking. My son walks up to me and goes, Dan, in his little Australian accent, Dad, can I have a snack? because his daddy's snack pack, I got all the good shit in there. And it's like he does not take without asking. And even if he does, it's like, he's just a little cheeky boy. But it's like my kids are like very well behaved because we raised them well. And that's the reality. And the issue is like, even though he's a kid, and if he does something stupid or like rebellious, you're not going to get mad at him. You're like, well, he's just a kid. Like, and he did one thing today rebellious. I was like, don't take anything out of your backpack. Because mom's so petty. I sent them home with some like organic snacks for the last 3 weeks because it's their favorite snacks in my house. And she sent them all back with them today. So I came back with a backpack just full of snacks that I'd sent with them, as in, I'm not going to feed your snacks to my kids. That's very petty. But I pull him out and he's like, I have an example with this. He's like, I turn around and he's with my two friends, with Georgie and my friend. And he's like, I'm not looking, I'm grabbing a drink. And apparently they're like, oh, he grabbed a snack out of the bag after you told him he snitched on him. He can't get away with nothing. and I'm like, look, if she's going to let you have it, then whatever, whatever, this or that. You get that even though they're dumb and they're kids, you can both believe at the same time that they're kids and they're going to do kid things and you shouldn't beat the shit out of them for every little thing they do. But you also don't want your kid to be unruly and act like an animal. And I think with blacks, it's like, that's kind of the consensus. It's like, okay, dude, you're right, dude. You're right that they live in a single mother home. That's kind of why they're maybe feral. Because when you're raised by women, it's just terrible. Like that's why I fight for my kids to be in their lives, despite all the bullshit. It's because
a black dad would never do what you're doing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I fight because I don't want my kids to be feral. And women just think that they know what they're doing. Just like, I can raise the kids. No, you can't, bitch.
I don't need no man.
No, you can't, bitch. You cannot. You cannot raise the kids, okay? You cannot raise children. Woman, you think you can raise kids because either you have the government or a man paying for your shit. But once you don't have a man or the government paying for your shit and you got to go work, what do? You start reasoning with your children. You fight with your children. I always thought it was crazy. Like with my ex-wife, it's like, I'll watch it's like, dude, they've been acting up and like this and that. And then like, I just like look at my kids and just go like, what have you been doing? And they're just like freaked out because it's dad. Dad just says, what have you been doing? And it's like, there's this level of a fear of respect that kids have for their dad. And I've never abused my kids, never like done any damage to them or anything. Just, there's just a fear of like men. When men are in control, it's kind of scary. And that's why when you look at the old world, men were in control. So it was a little bit scary. And people think, well, now because we're not having all these wars in the West, life is better. But it's like, is it really?
Yeah.
Because just now that women are in control, yeah, we may not have wars, but life sucks. And back then we used to fight for freedom and what we wanted and what was better for our people. And now we just do what feels good. And it's like, and then now what do we have? We have countries that we have no identity, people that don't belong, foreigners around us. And it's like, if you accept that blacks are the way they are because of their DNA, then it makes sense why poverty and single motherness and all these things happen. Why did the white settlers, they were all poor. A lot of them, the moms died or the dads died, and they didn't have, from disease or from natives or whatever, and they were raised in a single parent family. Why aren't those kids unruly and breaking up? How'd they build society? A lot of single parent kids in society that were poor built our entire society. One parent comes over with a kid and the mom dies in childbirth. It's like, what was then? It's like, because they just weren't blacks. So that's all it is. It's like that's inherently not how black people behave.
It seems like a really hard pill to swallow for women specifically, to swallow the blacks are the way they are because of their DNA pill. It's like, for some reason, it's extremely difficult for them. I remember a conversation with my mother who leans conservative. She votes with my father on basically everything, but there was this expose about immigration she watched on Fox, and we were having a conversation about it a few months ago. And I was asking her, like, do you not see how immigration's a problem? And she's like, no, like, why? We got to be good to people and stuff. I'm like, oh, so you're kind of on a surface level with your thinking here. And you don't really, like, women, they want to do the right thing now. And they want people to feel good and happy. And everyone needs to be cherished and loved. And it's like, no, like, what's going to happen is our country will be lost. And everything we love will be gone. And we're already on the way. I mean, look at Frisco, Texas. We live here. our entire neighborhood is full of Indians. And I think we have, well, I don't know if I should talk about our neighbors, but our neighbors are white. Our next door neighbors are white. I doubt the wife has any problems with that at all. You know, I doubt any white woman living in this neighborhood has any problems with the Indian excess here.
Well, yeah, and like Third Coast Texas Toast brought this up. I'm raising my one kid all alone, no child support, no help at all, and I've devoted my entire life to it. Yeah, it's unfortunate when it's like that, and you know, I'm in the middle of like some massive, you know, court stuff, so you know, people like to say things online, but it's like, I do think it's quite hilarious. What matters is this: even with a dad in your life, girls with distant fathers often grow up to be hoes. They do. And it's like, I believe I'm one of the most dedicated dads I know that cares. And unfortunately, I believe my ex is realizing that. Like, when you lie about your husband vehemently on the internet and in court, and you have to go to court, and it's like, I'm not here to help you. You want to be a single parent and just trash me? Be a single parent. But I'm going to take care of my kids, and if you don't, you want to do some things to keep the kids out of me, then you're going to have a lot of burden because I want to be in my kids' life. And when I'm here with my kids, you know, I send them home with toys. I buy them new things. I'm always around. I pour into them. I call them whenever. But I'm in a long court battle. I'm not getting into the details. I don't think there's a lot of dads who really want to be in their kids' lives. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. And the reason why is because I don't think a lot of men have the capacity to love children simply because they don't believe in the future of the country. That's honestly my opinion. I don't think dads see that their kids can change or affect the country, so they lose the ability to, and they're trying to survive themselves. Also, women don't get this too. You're ruining our country by fucking with your husbands in divorce, by the way. That's very true. Or in split ups or whatever. It doesn't matter if you're breaking up. When you make life hard for your ex, girls, this is not a joke, whether you're trying to ruin him financially in divorce, like in my situation, or you're trying to, you know, accuse him of things, like in a lot of situations, or you're trying to like pull the kids from him, you're actually destroying society, because what men fight for is for women and children and nothing more than children. Because it's not even a joke. It's like, you can always get a new wife, but you can't get new kids.
Well,
like
really interesting.
You only get one of them.
What's really interesting about that is Karmelo Anthony, I believe, had both of his parents in his life. And so what's the common denominator there? It's really just his DNA. His DNA as a black, it makes him impulsive. It makes him very quick to act. And there's no filter. There's no like something with people with lower IQ. It's not just blacks, but if you have a low IQ, what happens is there's an input and then immediately you give out the output. And there's no like processing time. There's no thinking, well, you know, if I stab this kid in the heart, my life might be ruined and I might go to jail for 40 years and I might ruin my whole life. Like that never crossed his head, or, you know, it never crossed his thoughts. And so he just stabs the guy. He stabs Austin Metcalf in the heart, kills him, and he walks away. And I think someone interviewed him shortly after that and said, "Did you do it?" And he said, "Yeah, I killed him." It's like, okay, so now you're admitting it on camera that you killed him and you're going to plead not guilty. I think he's pleading not guilty because his lawyers are probably, you know, telling him that, obviously.
Here's the example. Mm-hmm. So I don't ever play stuff from this bitch, but look at this image here. The reason why I say I don't respect these people is because they're not showing anything new. They're not explaining what's going on through their work. They're just reaching out to boomers. Mm-hmm. Look at this black woman. She's got
powered by Turning Point. Look at that.
Yeah, well, Frontline's is Turning Point. She's a Turning Point person. But got fat too. That's crazy.
Yeah, a little fat.
No, a lot.
Some weight.
But you got here the quick trip. You know, sugary drink, a little wine.
Yeah.
How, like, and you always wonder, like, how do blacks just like smoke weed all day and drink and like somehow function? They're not functioning. Okay. They're not. The reason why you drinking and smoking all day inhibits your ability to function is because you have an IQ that it takes you down. That's why when you smoke weed, it relaxes you and turns you into a black for the night. That's why you love it and you fall asleep. You become black and like, wow, life is easy. I'm just a black tonight. And just watch a movie and think life is okay. Mm-hmm. And it's like, dude, if I have like one glass of wine at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, it better be like a Saturday or a Sunday or a day off or something. Like, you know, like I couldn't even have a drink before I see my kids. It's like, I got to be on, you know? Right. That stuff relaxes you, gets you in a different mood. Like, you can't be doing that. However, I will say, exception is for some men, like if you're doing like a little bit of like vodka or like, you know, whatever you're doing. I don't know what you do. You like sell stuff and it copes with your life. The reason why I don't respect this is because Frontlines does the DEI thing where anytime there's like a black issue, they send their brown reporter to go talk to them so they don't get beat up, so that they don't actually show what blacks are really like.
Right.
But then they'll send the brown as well to whites so that the whites beat them up so it looks like the whites are violent. But they'll never send a white to go interview the blacks so that you don't see the blacks chimp out at them. It's not a joke. That's what they do. They protect the blacks. They always send browns. They never send a white to go interview the whites either. They send a brown in both situations. And they fire all their white people. Turning Point fires all their white journalists. It's every single one has been fired that I know of. And now they just have an Asian and a brown. It's all just nons. And then they do that, and then they don't, and the browns don't beat them up because they like their own. They like dark-skinned people, and they're against whites.
Right.
And the whites don't give a fuck if you're brown, they'll beat you up because they're about ideology. They're not actually about racism. They just like want communism and far-left totalitarianism. Listen to this. This is an example of what I mean. Check this out. And keep me on the screen, by the way, because I don't want...
Yep, got it.
These bitches will DMCA me for no reason.
Right.
If evidence does come out that Karmelo was not in fact fighting for his life when he stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf, do you think that the black community will accept that?
If evidence shows that he did not, no, we're going to stand by ours regardless. They stand by theirs. We're going to stand by ours regardless.
And there it is.
There it is. We're like, and by the way, it's not interesting to me. Because it's like, I've known this forever. And like, everybody knows. That's why you watch a fight. You can't fight a black person when there's other blacks around.
Yeah, it's pretty basic.
Because like, they'll just attack you. Even if you're in the right, they'll attack you because a black's losing. And they're tribal. And they're just tribal by mindset. It's in their DNA. They're not just tribal because they're primitive and poor. They're primitive and poor because they're tribal. Like,
well, I would disagree with that, actually. Like,
put yourself on screen, bitch.
I am.
Full screen.
Okay.
I just don't want to.
Well, I would disagree with that because other cultures that have a higher IQ, like the Chinese, the Japanese, they're tribal as well in a way, but they're very successful. And I do think the common denominator there is IQ generally. The only race that I know of that isn't tribal in some way is whites. Like, we're the only ones, and it's because we've been programmed for years through our media. And I mean, that's obvious. That's too on the nose. But the blacks, they kind of had a similar thing where they've been told their whole lives that they have to work together and they have to stand by each other because the white man is going to oppress them and take everything from them if they don't. That's what they've been told through music, through everything, their entire lives. And, whites just do not have that. We lack that. It's a quintessential part of human nature, and we've just been robbed of it.
Mr. Dissident just sent a $5 super chat. Shout out. Bonavino just announced a presidential run, 100 million deportations. Afterwards, we can start on the African deportations. True. Also, 5 gifted subscriptions to Rift TV. Casey J. Gates. Thanks so much for that. I really appreciate it. Good to hear you there.
And Dusty Tard gave $4 in the locals chat. Thank you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Dusty,
Sorry. So the reason why we can never go away, even with like the fact that media is dying, is like these ideas won't die. And like I've said, like we're here to figure out the next stage. But literally you'd be shocked at what my days are like. I just always bring that up if you're new to the show. Like
yeah, we're dealing with a lot, but we have plans. So
it's a lot.
You guys will be getting a lot more content from us in the near future, probably starting this week, even maybe next week. We'll start putting regular videos out on our YouTube that are produced. And, we're going to be showcasing the Indian immigration in Frisco because we live here. We're in it. We're very deep in it. So it's up to us to show you what's happening here, to show you the immigration problem firsthand. And what is...
Do you see this? A picture of Georgie, actually. See that? That's what Georgie looks like in his room.
Yeah,
That's not a lie. It's pretty good, huh? It's
That's
a pretty
me.
cute picture of him.
Me.
Pretty nice.
It's a good setup right there. Look at that.
It's
like high class.
I'd kill myself if my kid was like that. I'm not offering him to Molek.
He's going to have
He's grown.
some
Sorry, buddy.
problems.
It's going to be sad watching you cry, but you're going to Molek. I don't like that. No, I'm joking. By the way, that's what always gets clipped. And then I always end up with like...
Well, we're out of Karmelo clips.
Yeah, I know.
So let's just talk about it. I mean, what do you think so far about the trial? It sounds like they're going to have their closing arguments tomorrow, so we might even show up for that in person and do some commentary on the ground. But what do you think about it, Elijah?
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, apparently their closing arguments are tomorrow from both sides.
Well, the problem remains here. Nobody really likes Karmelo Anthony's,
except for the black people.
No, but
They love him. They've made him into George Floyd, unironically.
Like, here's the deal. You know, Florida has a lot of Karmelo Anthonys that live there. Okay. And the whites that are really rich knew that it's a great place to live. South Florida is a great place to live, but they just really don't like Karmelo Anthony's. And so they found this island called Palm Beach and put drawbridges between that and the mainland. Because Karmelo Anthony's don't know how to swim.
Right. It's true. I was in the Navy. I think I had probably like 6 or 7. It was probably more, actually. It was probably like 15 blacks in a 100-man division. And I think only one of them knew how to swim when they got there. To Navy boot camp. You know, Navy, it's on the ships and stuff. You go in not knowing how to swim. And they'd be taken out of different rotations every day to go and learn how to swim for the whole of boot camp. And eventually a lot of them made it. But still, it's very concerning. Very
Well, that's what I'm
strange.
saying. So they just said, well, we want to live here, but we're just going to guarantee our property in case there's riots by just putting a teeny weeny bit of water between us. A little bit. My dog is trained. Trust me. He won't jump on you. And a little bit of water between me and the people. And you go, okay, well, that's smart because eventually you just go, we have to learn to live with these people because they are here and nobody has the stomach to do what we need to do anymore. And I believe the reason why is because of broadcast televisions. I think
It's also iPhones, like people having cameras on them.
that's what I mean. Broadcast television. I mean, because of the invention of that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, to this day, as a young man, you feel like when you watch the images, like which they try to take down, when you watch the images from the Ukraine war, it demoralizes you as a man so much about not wanting to fight in war. You go, that's how I could die? Like for some stupid war that I don't even believe in? And you feel very demoralized. Like girls will never understand. Girls and children cannot understand.
No.
Period. To how expendable our lives are as men. As the famous Ukrainian general Samuel Heidelson once said, happiness is for women and children. As a man, life is miserable. It's a great burden. And if you're not burdened all the time, if you're a man, you get happy from a Lego set and you just either are just a boy transitioning into a man or you're just like some anomaly or some weird retard, basically. Like life is a fucking burden for a man. It's just scary. You don't know what's going on. It makes no sense.
Who was that? It was
General Samuel Heidelson from the Ukrainian First Division of the First Division. Yeah,
such a wise man.
Yeah, he's such a wise man. But he said that, and it's like, yeah, it's very deep. And you know, I love my sons so much. If somebody killed my son, I'm going to kill them. Okay? Period. I'm going to kill them. You're dead. You're dead, brother. Or if I decide not to because I have another son and I realize I have to raise them, I'm calling for a race war. Okay? Calling for a race war. I'm calling for a race war.
Just hearing those words is so sweet, Elijah.
Yeah, I'm calling for a race war. Calling for a race war.
Please, please, if you can hear me.
I'm not apologizing.
Hitler, if you can hear me, please.
As the Colombian president once said on X this weekend, Hail Hitler. He did say that, by the way.
Malcolm X, if you can hear me, please save us. Please, please start the war.
Speaking of minorities killed by people.
Or minorities killing people. White people.
That's what I meant. Just so bored of the news cycle. It's like, when are we just going to get that race war, you know? Like, can we do it?
Any day now.
And bing, 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 boom, 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 boom.
Mr. Dissident says apartheid now. I agree. 1,000,000%.
I should start should we start raising money for like American apartheid? Should we start an American apartheid movement?
We'll ask the audience. Do you guys think we should have what would it be? Apartheid now t-shirt with a little embroidered Rift TV logo? You
know what would be great though? But to sell it,
I'd wear that.
To sell it, spell it A-PAR-TIED, apartheid now. And it's like, it's got like a little like wave behind it. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like apartheid, like it's like, no, I'm just like, I want a new wave now. It's apartheid. Sometimes not too much on the nose is not good, but it's apartheid. It's not spelled correctly.
It's spelled apar space tide.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want
because apart is like apart, like is that hole in two?
Yeah.
Apart hole in two?
I think that's just
or 2 to 3. It depends what they say, but a par is like 2 to 3, 2 to 4, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like then a tide is what? Like it's apartheid. And it's like this is a golfing shirt. This is a golfing
It's
shirt,
a
bro.
par space tide, and then like some surfer, like a little surfer surfing a wave or something.
Apartheid now, because if you wore that in public, you might get beat up from some people. So it's like, I would wear it on the show, apartheid now, but we got to think of the people. Watch this out. So Henry Nowak was murdered. And we're going to talk about Sikhs for a moment, because everyone says that Sikhs are not Indian and they're not bad. Yeah, they are. Check this out.
If you want to click play here.
Well,
I'd like to invite everyone to actually join us in a minute's clap. So let's show some kindness.
So the leftists here, just so you know what's going on, the leftists are refusing to clap for the memory of Henry Nowak.
As you can see there, none of the Stand Up to Racism group are clapping. And this is for Henry Nowak. None of them are clapping.
Yeah, the white liberals hate themselves. Cocteau says, no apartheid. Relocate all blacks to the sun, then blow up the sun.
Be kind on this sign here. Wow. The irony. The irony.
Well, Elijah.
The absolute irony.
I'm going to pause it here. You know, I like what's going on in the UK. I don't know how far they'll take it, unfortunately. I think the UK, the British people are kind of weak, but at the very least, they're showing up to the protest. I think there was like a 3 million man protest or something crazy like that. And they're still showing up every day to support Henry Nowak and get justice for him and their society. I think, you know, the tides are starting to shift there. I hope they keep up the momentum, because I'd hate to see what happens when they lose momentum and fizzle out and, you know, it just goes nowhere. What is it, restore or reform?
Well,
which one's the new one? It's restore, right?
Well, restore is, I think, the proper one. Reform, I think, is just the one that is.
Reform's the old one, right?
Well, they're both around. Reform's gaining ground, but what I think is this. You know, from traveling around the world, I kind of got a different take on society than other people would think.
Okay.
Being like that, I have very pro-white views, and it's my biggest issue that I really care about. It's like, okay, you know, you walk around your cities. Like, look at this, Russ, put on the screen. You walk around your cities, and you see this, okay? And it looks a little dingy. It's a little bit old or whatever. And you go, wow. You see the shiny cities in Shanghai.
Mm-hmm.
You go, man, I wish we had that.
What, the architecture?
Just listen. Like when you're young, when you're in about progress and new, and you like want, you know, it's during that era when you're like 17 to 22, and you're developing your prefrontal cortex, and you kind of like want something new and different.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the one time you like consider moving to another country, or like going on a backpacking trip, or interracially having sex or whatever. Your brain is just like in this place where like it wants to define itself and like do something different. It's it's like pioneering mindset. And you're developing, and you see something like a street like that, and you're like, wow, my town's so dingy or whatever. And then you travel the world. And like you go to like El Salvador, and you go to like a really nice neighborhood. And like something is just like different about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like nicer than your street and whatever. And it's like, but what do you feel? You're like, why does this just like not feel like home? And it doesn't feel like home because, for instance, here's a good thing. Like, let's just say they're like, got in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that El Salvador has like doctors and medical equipment and like the ability to like save your life? Like, you have this confidence in America, or like maybe in England. It's like, you will survive anything because like we have the top medicine to just like save us. You might not make it because they don't have that. Then you like feel something different too, and you go, like, you look around you and there's like security with guns and like, you know, everything. You're like, oh, this is like artificial and new and based on a new government. And this government collapses. This is not their way of life. This is a system in place currently that gives me the illusion of safety, but could collapse immediately, and we could end up back in tyranny, and it could end up back in anarcho-tyranny. Mm-hmm. What we've had in the West is this like insatiable sense of just like security. It's just like, you're safe. Like, it's like you don't get it until you travel, where you're just like, hey, buddy, like, you know, we don't believe in, like, we have guns, but you can't just shoot me. You know, that's how white people feel with each other. It's like, you don't think white people, you don't get scared of a white person with a gun. Because you have this like common law, this God common law, where it's like you go down the streets and like, yeah, maybe it's not new and edgy in that border town here or whatever that is, that coastal town, but it's like, you just like never think about like getting mugged or like these things don't come into your head.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of this like this way of life. It's a way of life we've had for a long time. Just like common law, decency, the Magna Carta, you know, all the way to the Bill of Rights, right? It's like we have this way that we just this contract, social contract, where it's like,
yeah, in
you
homogenous societies.
It's the same reason that black guys like any good cracker's a dead cracker, but you know that nigga ain't doing shit. It's like because he lives in a common law contract society. It's like, but dude, if you're in El Salvador, and I'm going to tell you this, I've learned this the hard way. I'm not saying I've been kidnapped because I wouldn't say about the country. Not saying I've been kidnapped there, but I will say this.
You might have been kidnapped.
I might have been kidnapped in that country and barely made it out alive. It was very scary. It was actually one of the scariest experiences of my entire life. And I almost died. But that being said, it's like, you know, when you're in that country and you're pulling out your passport and you're going, Estados Unidos, Estados Unidos. And you're like telling them, oh, that's I thought you know that just means USA. And so
okay.
Yeah, but like they don't speak a lot of Spanish.
Right.
I mean a lot of English. You're like freaking Estados Unidos. Yep. And like you're telling them and you're explaining, you know, you're like, you're not in contract law. You're telling criminal networks, you better not kill me because I'm a citizen of a foreign country and America will not like an American. And your government, if you kill me right now, fucking Bukele is going to come raid this neighborhood and kill all you guys probably. No, I'm being honest though. It's like probably going to kill all you guys. Dude, they kill an American citizen in a barrio, they're going to kill you probably actually. You're all dead actually. And you're all going to CCOT. I can say CCOT. You know, it's like you're going to CCOT. It's like, you don't touch me. That's a different contract. That's a third world contract. That's what Americanism also used to mean. When you're an American, you used to travel with pride and dignity because you go, I'm an American. If I get into trouble, my embassy is going to get me. And then you start seeing the things that happen in Libya. And you start seeing our government abandon its own people. And you see that like our government doesn't care about its own people, doesn't care about who we bring in, doesn't care where our people are. It takes this confidence away that once made you great. Where you were something great, patriot. You were something American boy. You were something American girl. It's like you could travel the world and you knew that one dead American means war. Like Reaganism. I don't like Reagan, but still like the only good dead American is no American, as they would say. You know, one dead American means war. That's what they used to say. It's like you kill one of our people, we're gonna bomb the fucking shit out of your little fucking Mogadishu city. You know, you take down a few Blackhawks and you kill a couple dozen of our soldiers. We're going to just drop bombs. And we've lost that in the West. And that's what you feel. That's what's gone. That's what's gone. It's not just now when you're overseas, you're in your own cities and you realize your police don't protect you. Your government doesn't care about you. And in fact, they care more about words than they care. Like a government is like, it's like, dude, like we're just lost our way. We've lost our way. And when I'm traveling in El Salvador, it's just kind of crazy. I know in El Salvador that I was safe. This is what's so crazy. This is how I know we got fucked up from traveling. Ready for this? When I was in a situation, not in that situation, and that was very scary. No doors, by the way. I don't even know how I got in the room. But when you pull out your passport and you're saying Estados Unidos, I'm saying I know that El Salvador's government cares that I'm American. And I'm saying it with confidence, like, hey, I'm an American citizen and he's gonna fuck your shit up. If you touch me, bitch, you're fucked up. Go fuck yourselves. I'm American. But I wasn't calling upon my government. I'm calling upon his government because his government cares more about Americans being safe. So much to the point that I've had situations in San Salvador. I don't even know what's going on. And I'm with a group of Americans. There's not a lot of Americans down there. And I'll have police come up in four-wheelers, block a street off, escort me, grab me, and escort me down another block so I just don't see what's going on over there because they don't want me around it and they don't want me to know, they don't want me around it, and they care about me. When have you had police come and grab you as a white person in a city where there's a shooting and grab you and escort you and take proactive measures and block a street off, keep all the white people off because there's some crazy blacks causing problems? Like, no, there's no proactive police. There's no looking out for your well-being. They don't even care. They wait for you to die until they help you. In fact, they'll help you die. And it's like, that's what I'm sick of. I'm sick of non-proactive.
They'll watch you bleed out, just like Henry Nowak.
I hate these people. I hate our system. And I've experienced our system in another way. And I'm tired of experiencing in a way where it's always too late. It's always too late with Nowak. It's always too late. You know? I'm tired of it.
Metcalf, Nowak. Yeah, man.
Someone said El Salvador sent their gangsters here. Dude, before Bukele, retard. Like, that was not during... Dude, they sent them to Guatemala. Dude, they're hiding right now in Guatemala, brother.
No, he said El Salvador sent their gangsters here.
That's what I said.
To the U.S.
Yeah, before. Yeah. MS-13 was here. Dude, in the 90s.
Guess where they are now? They're rotting in a fucking massive prison.
No, but do you know Colombia? Like, there a lot of places are going to be... Do you know that... well, I shouldn't say it.
Yeah, don't.
But what I was going to say is there's actually a pan-American unity happening right now. There's a far-right movement happening across the world. And you should get in on it because it's very, very good for you to have connections down there. And Colombia is very based, by the way. Colombia is a very based country. Very dangerous. Very... Bogota, right? Is in Colombia? No?
I'm not sure. Bogota?
Is that? I think so. I sound very American right now.
Yeah, it's the capital.
Yeah. Very dangerous, but for Americans, besides, if you sleep with prostitutes, you might get drugged and robbed or die from some shit, and that happens a lot with Westerners. But for the most part, it's there's a far right movement, and they want to create a CCOT in Colombia and take care of the cartels in Colombia, and they want to nationalize, I think, the cocaine trade, like the CIA did with Mexico. So it's kind of cool. What's going on down there? Check out geopolitics. That's the stuff I'm interested in, by the way, and I like. Maybe you don't like that stuff. All right, moving along. So
now there's protests in Paris. So, you know, the title of the video is we have protests across Europe, and they're all uniting under, you know, white unity in some ways. Look at this.
The French, I actually have a lot of respect for the French.
Yeah, me too.
You know, my favorite French guy I know, his name was Nicky Rudd. The French look different.
Is he actually French?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I know a lot of French people from Louisiana. All the French are in the South, right?
Hey, Frojax just rated the stream. Hey, Frojax, he brought like 100 viewers. Cool, thanks, man.
Nice. Thanks, Frojax.
Frojax Moggs. W. I don't know who you are, but thanks.
Appreciate it, Frojax.
Go follow him on Rumble.
Is he our enemy, though?
Who knows? No, he says total remigration. I think they're all white nationalists. They're all patriots.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't like living around or being around non-white people in general, but I do have non-white friends who also don't like being around non-white people. And that's where we get confused in our movement, because I get it, man. If I was not white, I wouldn't want to be around my people. But the French are different. No, the French have a very, like, as much as they're given shit for Paris, I actually think the anti-French content is very wrong. And the way that we look at the French is extremely wrong, because French have been dealing, like, everyone talks about the French being pussies and they surrender. Like, hey, listen, before you were dealing with your gay ass fucking liberalism in LA and New York, and you're a guy in the middle of the country and you want to fucking go to war and like defend your liberty, but you got these faggots in like DC and New York and LA ruining your fucking country. France has been going through that for a longer time, okay? They've had a gay form of liberalism dictating their politics way before you did, okay? And they have a longer history than you do. They're Parisian. They like helped modernize society, cuisine, everything that we love, including music. And of course they're pissed. And they've been hijacked by these gay, liberal, dominant elites we call the deep state longer than America has, okay?
Yeah.
Like, America has been overtly secular since the 1850s in this gay, neoliberal sort of societal, hierarchy. But the French, like, they're not pussies. They're racist as fuck. And they hate foreigners. They just have gay, liberal elites that are controlling them.
Yeah.
And they're actually like,
they're kind of effeminate society. That's
no,
what
but
gets
they're
them in
like
trouble.
sexual patriots. They're like the sexual patriot capital of the world.
They are, but they give women too much power. It's like
in the city.
Well, I'm saying they've gone through phases of their liberalism.
No,
like,
have you
French Revolution?
No, look at all the rich people are the same. They're patriarchal males. They're creating society. They've literally pioneered fashion. Them in Italy pioneered fashion.
Yeah, everyone in the old world used to wear their clothes.
Correct. The old world to this day, dude, all the brands are like French and Italian. And it's like, no, they have a dominant class, and then they have what's like a bourgeois class that still controls the culture. But they just don't really have a grasp. And the average Frenchman, the women are sluts. I will say that. The women are like fucking whores.
And they kind of put their women on a pedestal. And that's what gets them into trouble.
But that's Latin. That's the Latin in them. That's like, they're
I'm not
Latin.
saying there's anything wrong with it. I actually like French culture for that in a way. You know, you do want some kind of a heart of liberalism somewhere because it does benefit the rest of the world in some ways, but it also is a detriment to their own society because of, you know, like I said earlier, it's women, I would say, that cause the immigration problem beyond anything because they're voting for it and they don't really see the future the way that we do.
Projax, DM me on X. I don't know if you're watching this, but DM me on X because we should do some collabs. We've got to get a bunch of smaller channels and like work together.
Elijah Schaefer on X.
Yeah. DM me. No, but like, dude, it's like, dude, but they're a different culture. Like, the French have been sexual for a long time, dude. Like, that's very bourgeois. I mean, that's kind of like where we get the word. Like, the guys have always been a little bit kinky and like makeup and, you know, like they've always just been a little bit like, they've been a little bit just like open-minded in a way that people haven't maybe been in the rest of the countries. But I respect the hell out of the French. Dude, the only place that's better than the south of France is probably Southern California, in my opinion. And when you live in California, the south of France isn't that nice. But like, dude, the French are like, they're very patriarchal in a lot of ways that you don't understand. And I think they get a lot of shit. It's very boomer, like the French surrendered. And it's like, well, they're like gay liberals. And that's what Hitler was warning about. Like, listen, Hitler wasn't like the French were weak. He was like, the liberal mindset of France is going to make blacks be in Paris. Like, we have to stop this liberalism that is, it wasn't even in the UK at the time, but it's like, there's this liberalism in the United States and in France that is like ravaging people's mindsets to where the average man thinks they can live a bourgeois mindset. And the reason why it was so prolific beyond the French Revolution in France is like, that is the problem we have today is, look, you have to be okay with the bourgeois that run your country being a little bit weird, okay? Like the bourgeois, the ruling class is always gonna be a little bit maybe bisexual. They're gonna cross-dress. They're gonna be fake, fake religious. It's like in the fucking Muslim world. It's the same thing in every country. It's like you have these sheiks and shahs and all these people, and they're like, we're Muslim and we're against alcohol, and they're drinking alcohol, having shitting on prostitutes' chests in Dubai. They're like smoking weed. They're bum fucking each other with gay sex. It's like, look, dude, in Saudi Arabia, I hate to tell you this, Saudi Arabia, but like you're like religious holy people, including probably in Iran as well with their religious elite. They're doing all the vices because they have access to it and it's corrupting, and they're trying to keep you from being corrupted. They're like parents who grew up fucked up who want their children not to grow up like them. It's just what ruling classes are like. And until you can become an elitist and realize that, you have to realize that the elitists are always going to be a little bit weird and fucked up. But France tried to normalize it in a societal revolution so that everyone could kind of be like that. And the average person's low IQ. The average person doesn't understand these deeper concepts. They're not educated in a way that they were raised with family wealth and foundation. It's like, dude, Hitler just warned us. He was just like, this liberalism in France, it's pussy shit. And that's why he knew he could conquer all these liberal countries. He knew he could conquer them because they're liberals. They're pussies. They don't stand for anything. They just want their society to be fun and decadent, and they don't care. And Germany's like, we've been fucked. Our country sucks. Let's rebuild it. Let's become strong again. And until we can get there, I don't know where we're going to get.
It's an interesting point. I think liberal society as a whole, it actually might be a benefit overall for us because liberal societies, they always set the conditions that you need for a right-wing extremist government to take its place. Like, it's kind of similar what happened in the French Revolution. It was a very liberal revolution, and it was parliamentary, and all the people in parliament, all the different factions would kill each other, assassinate each other, and the whole society was so degraded and so fucked up from that it set the precedent for Napoleon to come in and take power and seize full power. And I think we're seeing that in basically every European nation today, including America. The liberals are going to fuck things up, but they are also going to give us the conditions necessary to have that right-wing, I wouldn't even say extremist, but just far-right policies, far-right governments, because there's always an ebb and flow. There's always an action and a reaction. And right now, we just haven't seen the reaction yet. We've been in a liberal world for so long, and I think people just assume that it's static and it'll never change. But that's That's never been true across history. So it's
Shout
just a
out
waiting
Renegade
game.
AZ85 said we came for a raid. I left as a subscriber. Shout out to you.
W.
All right, so white nationalists give a statement on Henry Nowak. This
It's
is
a little
like,
cringe, but let's see what they
I
say.
don't see. I have a weird take on this. I don't find it cringe at all. Actually, I find it like
I know.
I find this
That's where we
like,
differ a little bit.
well, I just find it like nostalgic.
Yeah, I just find it a little LARPy, you know.
I don't, because it. You know what?
It's like the mask. Like, look at the masks up. You know, it's just like a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if this is how I want to be represented as myself.
Yeah, because you're like a little faggot from,
No, but
from,
like-
from San Diego. These are guys. these are different kind of guys. You know, like there has to be both. There has to be both.
Well, these are like the rural kind of, you know, peasant class uprising. Like this is kind of what they
And-
represent. And
well-
it's fine. It is what it is, you know, but it's just like, I want to be represented by elites specifically. I want
well,
people,
you're not represented by them.
I
These
want
are the-
people in suits to represent me, people with actual power
Yeah, well,
and money.
Antifa's not elites, and I watched them burn billions of dollars of damage in the country. These guys will
we're
go to
better
jail.
than that,
Well, they
yeah.
will go to jail for beating the shit out of people, and that's what we need. You have to protest. You got to have these guys standing around beating the shit out of like fucking nons and communists, protecting the rally. And yeah, like they're gonna go to jail, and that's kind of like the end of their reign. But you know, they're very helpful. I've just seen the help.
I mean, it
of
pushes
them.
the Overton window, I guess, a little bit.
I like
it is
this.
what it is. I guess they have their
I'm
part.
there. I'm actually in the back right there. I'm that guy right there. I'm actually him. I so would do this. Check this out.
Hace una semana hemos podido ver el vídeo de la vergüenza. El vídeo en el que un joven europeo de nombre Henry Nowak era detenido por la policía inglesa después de haber recibido hasta 4 puñaladas por un indio en Southampton, Inglaterra. Después de las varias puñaladas, Henry se desplomó en el suelo. En un país en el que un Estado sirviese al pueblo y no a los invasores extranjeros, la policía habría auxiliado al joven y hubiese detenido al asesino indio. Pero en la Europa desarraigada y endofóbica, las cosas no funcionan así. Mientras Henry se iba desangrando y comunicaba a las autoridades que le costaba respirar, estos policías decidieron detenerle y esposarle, por la razón de que Henry, en teoría, había insultado en un tono racista al indio, ya que para estos policías era más importante que un joven blanco hiciese comentarios racistas a que un indio apuñalase de muerte a dicho joven arrebatándole la vida con tan solo 18 años. Así Henry moría en...
So real fast, without this, do you know what's crazy? Have you ever seen like, if you ever want to get like white pilled, and this is why I said my concept on whiteness is,
Okay, I want to hear
in
this.
general, if you're a part of Europe, I consider you white as a concept, because if you consider white not a skin color, right? This is very important. Like, to be European, like I understand people say, well, you know, Southern Italians are not white, and you know, this and that. Okay, look, in general, in the modern era, people synonymize like you know, which is not even a word, but we'll make it a word. People synonymize Europe with whiteness. They're like kind of interchangeable. To say that you're white, just like they say like, you know, Israel's white, but they're not. But they're a part of Eurovision, right? So, like, I'll give it to the public here for a second. If we're defining white as a cultural approach, like as a culture, right? White culture, in that our values, that like we built civilization, then yeah, you're gonna have to include the Greeks and the Italians and whatever, because even, well, I'm saying like what's crazy is like you go there and you do. Now, if you want to go more where I think about what white is personally, I think of white as like generally like a set of genetic traits that make you who you are, which is why I believe that Eastern European is a lot of them are white. Like I think a lot of, you know, Lithuanians are white, but a lot of Albanians are not. You know, it's kind of my opinion. Like they're European, but they're Albanian and they just don't look white. I consider white to be like light skin and light traits, or genetically your heritage is traced. Like you could have dark traits, but be from Germany or be from England or from France. It's like you can be a brown haired girl from France. You're still white, right? Even if your traits are a little bit darker. I do think they're both true at the same time. And I bring this up, like, you know, when you go to these countries though, you can kind of see what the original inhabitants looked like before intermingling. Like if you meet like real Greek girls that were like kind of have like deep heritage, they're very light skinned.
They're the hottest.
Very light eyes, very light hair.
Greek supremacy.
But I was actually Spanish. I was Latin pilled by Spain, because I know a lot of Spaniards, and I've worked at international schools and been in programs, and I meet Spaniards, green eyes, blonde hair, like genuinely very white. And I think we meet so many Spanish speakers from around the world that are so dark complexion that we think that, like, I think these people these people have to be Spanish. Yeah. Like, these are white people. Like, look at this. This is like, I know it's like a different type of white. It's not Aryan. So I don't think they're Aryan, but they're just a different haplogroup, right? It's a haplotype that just expresses darker genes. But like, they do have, like, that girl had like light eyes. Where is she? Where's that pretty girl? Look at her. She's pretty. And I think that's where the white attraction to Latinos comes from. Or I'm sorry, not Latinos, but Latinas, is because they are white, but they're different kind of white. However, I will say there's been a lot of intermixing from the Moors, from the Turkish. There's been conquest between the Italians and the Goths and different things that have gone on that, like, our people are not exactly as pure as you would think. I'm being honest with you. Like, our French people are not as pure.
What even is purity? Like, I don't really understand
because it's tribes. Like, it's like
I don't understand the hyperfixation with like Aryanism. Like,
well, I do.
The argument to be, well, Americans as a whole are not Aryan. Like, if you have mixed European blood, you would never be considered like a top Aryan in German Hitler society, you know, Nazi Germany society. You would be viewed as maybe a like kind of Aryan, but you're a lesser form of Aryan. So Aryans as a whole, they are German people, basically.
Aryanism is not an American concept. We have what's called the WASP concept, which is different. We believe, and you put them together, that's what we call it white. White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, that is considered the elite class of America, is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. It's tracing your roots actually back to the Anglo-Saxons, which is our elite class, which is why Hitler did think we were kind of the future, and so did another person as well. Is that even Napoleon said we were
white, but like how the Germans created Aryanism as like it is like German. Like you have to be German, blonde hair, blue eyes.
We had such a German diaspora. I don't know if you know this. The white, so the American Aryan genetically comes from, which is unironically, although I do need some face fat for sure, but I am a little bit bulking right now. But it's
I'm
like
thin.
Well, it's like I'm just like trying to be a little bit bigger,
actually.
But we actually had so it kind of like formed a new race. This is why I consider the American race to be a new race, and I do consider it to be a new white race.
I agree with that.
I consider the American race to be a new white country, as well as Australians are their own race
too. South Africa as well.
Yeah, South Africans, they're a new race of people. The Afrikaners are like their own people. It's like yeah, they're Dutch, but they're Afrikaners.
Well, when you mix more than one European DNA with itself, it's
well,
like you're creating a new European identity.
Well, and you get 4.5 million people living in its own country with distinct culture, religion,
well, that's how
language,
all European identities
and you get it whatever. It's like, yeah, but I'm saying like that's why everything's a little more mixed. It's like, well, we really have a very big mix, and the Nordics are less involved, but they are slightly. But it is a Nordic, Germanic, Anglo-Saxon mix, which is really what defines it, which is why the Irish weren't really accepted. But it's really like the building stock of America is technically pure Anglo-Saxon, which is why the Northeast is so racist and it has an in-group preference, which I get. But there's a lot of people who settled the rest of the country who, like my family, like my like what's kind of crazy is like Germans were here from the beginning. Like my German family was here before we were a country. Right? We were here way before a country in Philadelphia. But it's like the Germans, like what people don't understand is like the Germans, my German family, because I'm English German, that's what I am. I'm Anglo-Saxon Germanic. But it's like my German family did not settle well in the Northeast. And they were having a lot of problems with like kind of like Jews or whatever, because the Anglo-Saxons were not fond of them. And so they moved the Midwest and they settled the whole Midwest. It's like, you're going to tell me Michigan, Illinois, like you're going to tell me all these states are not America? It's like, yeah, they are. These are German settlements. Nordic German. They're Nordic German. And it's like, you have the Nordic German settlements and you're telling me that, like, by the way, the mixing came early on, but you're telling me that, like, I have a German settler who mixes with the Anglo-Saxons in Philadelphia and then has German English kids and then moves to the Midwest to Illinois, to Indiana eventually, but to Indiana, and creates fucking Chicago and everything. and Wisconsin as well. They create all these states, and because the kids are like Anglo-Saxon German, that's a new culture. It's a Bavarian. It is very Bavarian, but
Yeah.
but you do get this.
But is
this
it
culture.
Aryan?
Well,
Because someone in chat, they're like, what is Georgie talking about? Most American whites are Nordic. Well, Nordics weren't considered Aryan by the Nazis. They were considered a subcategory of Aryan, but they weren't Aryan, like the title. It's a subclass. So
I'm saying Aryanism.
you can look it up. It's free.
Yes, but Aryanism is interesting because it does mix from the Persians on. It's like we never really had Aryanism here. However, Aryanism is kind of defined by like blonde features, blue eyes, a certain build, height. Like it's sort of like you can be a non-Aryan German, and you can be an Aryan Nordic. You could be an Aryan Englishman. It's South UK, but it's a Western European gene trait. And I bring this up. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I bring this up. We have a friend, Georgie. We have a friend yes?
Correct.
Who's very German English, correct?
Yep.
Looks Persian or like Latino, yeah?
Yep.
Has a haplogroup that 2,400 years ago came from the Roman conquering of the UK, is now considered a part of the UK. It's called West Midlands. It's a part of English genotypes. And it's like, it's English. They're all English. Like maybe some guy from the empire like had sex with a girl and it just stuck. The gene just stuck. And they have a darker complexion, like a dark, they tan better, darker hair, darker eyes. They're white. But it's like, and it's proven that it's been, the gene just survived. Somebody had sex with someone 2,500 years ago, and the gene survived because it's very dominant. So it gives slightly different expression of genes. These people are English. They're like, how many generations do you have to have sex with English people before you're considered English again? You know what I'm saying? Like you have a Latin guy have sex with an English person and they just go down. You're like 99.99%, English. You just have one gene that just gives you darker complexion than most people. Not skin, by the way, but it's like hair and stuff.
You just be considered swarthy.
No, not.
If you have dark features, that's just
no.
swarthy.
Swarthy has to do with like hair texture and stuff. Trust me, it has to do with like. It has to do
If
with
you have like a tan skin.
No,
brown
it's
eyes,
like
brown hair.
nose width and stuff. No, this is just like you have darker hair and darker. No. It's not, because that's like Black Irish, right? That's different. Like swarthy is you look.
Swarthy means dark complexioned or having naturally brownish or olive skin tone. That's what it means.
No. I'm talking about, we don't call it. It's called Black Irish in the UK. It's like, but that's not Black Irish. This is a different haplogroup. It actually makes you look like you're a foreign. It makes you look like you're foreign. Makes you look like you might be whatever. But then you look at some tribes in Germany, they don't look very German. Okay. And so when you said like, why does it matter about purity? It's like, well, because when we talk about China, what is Chinese? It's Han, right? When we talk about like French, it's like ghouls or whatever. I don't know. France is full like, Gauls or whatever they're called. Gauls. I don't even know what they're called. Ghouls and goblins, But no, it's like, dude, yeah, you might be very much English but it's not pure. And I think that's why because we're not pure, like, dude, let's look at me. I have one Aryan son, very Aryan. And I have one very, very, very.
He looks like a little Roman.
Yeah, my son looks like he's going to kill everyone who's not white. We were actually joking today, and he's like.
You have one like Roman looking son and one like, like Hitler Youth looking son.
Yeah,
like
I have a son who looks very Scottish Irish because my wife is Scottish Irish, or my ex-wife, and he looks very much like thinner face, bigger forehead, freckles, curly hair. And I have one son who's got platinum, bleached blonde, straight hair, blue eyes, who holds up swords and he's talking about killing all the blacks. He's 1.5. He wants to kill all the blacks. It's like, dude, I have an Aryan son and a non-Aryan son. And it's like, so what do you mean by purity? It's like, well, yeah, like maybe technically both my sons are like Irish, Scottish, English, German, but that's not how DNA works. It's not like you carry the genes.
Saying it's like the Aryan like pride. It's like
it's like you have real white features.
There's enough pride to be taken in just being European and white. It's like the Aryan label kind of bothers me because people who have been red pilled, that's usually kind of what they go to. They just they love Aryanism even though they're Americans, and it's like is the irony lost on you? That you're not actually Aryan, you're a subclass. Even in Germany, you'd be a subclass. That's all I'm saying. I think whites overall, it's like, yeah, we should be proud. And
I don't know, with my name being Schaefer and being like white with blue eyes, if I'd be considered like a subclass in my own country.
You would be if your blood is mixed.
No, not really.
In Germany?
No, because it's about expression. So they believe in eugenics and expression, which I do too. They understood genetics. Listen, I'm trying to tell you about
you probably get your Aryan card.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain genetics here. Is like it actually doesn't matter about the gene expression. Like it's the expression, not what you think. The genes aren't what people think they are. It's like, well, my mom was, like this or that or whatever, and it's like, dude, what matters is the expression of genes that you have. The only danger of mixing your genes is you may be carriers for other genes. It's like, look at my 2 kids. They don't even look like brothers. And I watched them be born from the same vaginal canal. They don't even look like brothers. Besides having blue eyes and very fair skin, even my little Aryan is like, oh. He's like, one half, yes. He's like, that's like raspy, deep voice. My other's like, hey, that's you. He's like 3. He's like, hey, please have a snack. It's like, nigga, yeah, you have a snack. I love them both the same, but it's like, one of my kids clearly looks like he was born in like the fields of like Ireland or something. He's like, I'm gonna sing like, Kill-la-la. He's like, playing a little banjo. But it's like my other son's like looks like he just is gonna be like making Hitler edits when he gets older, you know?
For sure.
So it's like there's just a very difference in the children. And it's like, because my ex-wife is very Irish Scottish, and I have very strong German genes. I have extremely fucking strong German genes. My family has brutally strong German genes. I'm not like 50% English. I'm like mostly German. I'm like maybe 70, 80% German. Like my dad is half German and half English, and my mom's just German.
Right.
So I have like a fully German mom and a half German dad. But what that means is you don't get like 25%. It's like I may carry 10% English genes. And the only reason why I have a kid that looks British is because I have a wife that's British. And they're obviously Australian British, but like looks very Australian. And it's like, I even trip out at my kids. I'm like, man, I want to have more kids to see what they look like.
I think it's a good idea. You should.
Should have like 4 more
kids. We should all
kids.
have as many kids as we can.
Well, I got like very German genes, and like I just know what they are. It's like I just got German genes. It just is what it is. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
Anyways,
well, that's a good segue into what I was going to say. If you want Elijah's, if your wife can't get pregnant or something, he is willing to sell you his sperm. So
I'll have to actually impregnate her.
We're charging about $500 a pop for that. So if you're interested, hit me up on Twitter.
Yeah, and someone said Eli is a Jewish name. Yeah, because I have the German problem. I had Protestant parents who decided to name us all biblical names. Okay, so that's very American to name your kids biblical names. That's what I said. Hey, wait, real fast. So it's a new race. Like it's very American waspy. It's very waspy to name your kid biblical names. It's like very waspy, but also it's not a bad thing.
Mean?
But it's not a bad thing. I'm converting to Orthodoxy, and it's like you have to choose a biblical name anyway.
What do you mean waspy?
It's very Protestant to name your kids biblical names. White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. They say white Anglo-Saxons. It's white and Anglo-Saxon mixed Protestants.
That's all Christian cultures, like Catholics and Orthodox do that too.
Yeah, it's like you guys don't. We're not like pagans. My parents aren't pagans. We're not like mystic Nordics.
Is that in response to the chat?
Well, they don't.
They said Eli is a Jewish name.
Yeah,
it's
like,
like,
you don't
no, it's
get
actually
it.
a Christian name because we inherited the covenant and we were given a new covenant by Christ, actually.
By the way, swarthy whites are whites, and I will just die on that hill. Like,
thanks, man.
You're not really swarthy. You're just like
if I was more Greek, I would be. Once I'm tan, I'll be swarthy.
No, but I meant like, this is what I meant. Like, yes, when people say, like, oh, you're not white, it's like, okay, yeah, what you mean is they're not Aryan. They're not blonde hair, blue eyed. But white is like a nomenclature for European DNA. It's like, that's what we mean by white. Is like, that's why we don't call light-skinned Asians white. We don't call light-skinned Mexicans white. So I don't like white Hispanic. It's like, we don't call like, not Hispanics,
I like the
mixed.
uniqueness of being an American mutt. You know, it's like there's just something unique about it. It's nice. It's what gives me my identity as an American. I can't identify specifically even with Greece because my percentage, it's like I'm distant. You know, I'm like third generation. You know, so I'm really American. I have English DNA, I have German DNA, I have Italian DNA, I have a lot of Italian DNA actually.
But I'm saying like, this is what I meant about this. Like, I don't like the white Hispanic thing.
Right.
Because what it should say is this. Guess what you should mark? European white. If you live in Colombia and you have green eyes and like strawberry blonde hair and skin as light as mine and you have European features, it just means you didn't mix with the natives. You're literally still European. Like the Germans that live in Argentina are just European. They're not like Latin white. It's like, it's like, no, you're just a German guy living there. And I think what people don't understand is German genes are like very strong for white genes. The Aryan genes are very strong and they will last the test of time. Like we will.
Yeah, thank God I kept some of that. I got the blue eyes and blonde hair.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say like
it's very strong.
A lot of Greeks do have blue eyes. People just don't realize genetics. If you're new to the show, by the way, I'm a genetic engineer by trade. I've worked in genetics for 6-7 years. I'm very well educated, and genes are just not what you think they are. It's like the equivalent of like when guys are like, I only like one type of girl, and then like a fat girl like touches his pee-pee and he gets like excited. It's like, oh, you actually just don't know what you like. With genes, it's like European means white, but also you have to realize that a lot of non-whites live in Europe. That's why if you're like an Arab living in France, you're not necessarily white because you live there. But if you can trace your ancestry, you technically are white by inheritance of the culture. However, there are countries who have become non-white through intermixing, like Azerbaijan. Is it Azerbaijan? It is Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan or some of these countries, which is why, by the way, like Afghanistan used to be white, by the way, like light-skinned Aryan. It used to be Aryan, in my opinion, which is why you find a ton of Aryans in the mountains to this day, actually, blue-eyed, blonde-haired kids. It's kind of crazy. The world's not exactly what you thought, and it's not TikTok where it's just because Napoleon had sex with a bunch of people. The reason why a bunch of the world looks brown is because Genghis Khan fucking conquered a lot of the world. And a lot of those inner countries, you'll find Aryans from Napoleon's conquest, the West, the Caucasus, and where we were. Plus, you'll find the East. And then also you have the Muslim invasion as well with the Turkish and problems. So you find a lot of like weird mixes out there. But it's like, in my opinion, if you have like a certain type of nose, a certain type of head, a certain type of chin, it's all genetics. You're Aryan, and it's fine. Or a subclass of Aryan. You might be like a lower. But I'm also not a genetic purist in that, like, some bloodlines are just preserved, by the way. They're just preserved, and they just look good. And you're never going to look like that, by the way. Yeah.
Someone said Christianity killed Rome. It's like, actually, I responded already, but, Christianity made Rome last for 2,000 years. It wasn't always Christian during that period, but I think Constantinople fell in like 1400, something like that. So an additional 1400 years from when you knew it to fall. Something to be said about that. Christianity killed Rome. It made Rome. It made Rome what it is. And doesn't make any sense. Well, people just say stuff.
Well, like, I bring this thing up because the only people that really care about this are insecure people who are afraid.
Care about what?
Well, like, I'm like really happy that I had two sons that look the way they do. They're both very handsome in their own way. Like, my other son's gonna be like me, like round head, just like fucking trying to kill people. And then my other son's gonna be probably like a little bit more intellectual and like a little bit more sensitive and a little bit more like whatever. And it's like, I'm proving to you, like, it doesn't matter if my son says, oh, by the way, my one son that looks British goes, I am German, Irish, English, Scottish. Like, hey, you're a literally Irish, Scottish kid, dude. You're like, you're from fucking Scotland. Like, you're
the Highlands.
You're literally in the Highlands, my nigga. And my son will be like, I'm Irish, Scottish. Like, dude, you don't even have a freckle on your face, and your hair is as the color of the sun. You are the most German-looking nigga I've ever seen. I've never seen Hitler didn't even look more German than you, brother.
I wonder if they'll identify differently as adults.
Yes, but I'm saying, like, but both their last names are Schaefer, right? I'm not getting their first names, and that's actually why, by the way, my first son has an English name, which is very fitting. I'm so happy I didn't mess this up. And my other son has a religious name that is, one of the saints. And I didn't do that preemptively, but I do like the fact that, like, one of them has a very cool name and the other one has a very British name, and it's very cool that, like, it fits them, by the way. But they're both Schaefer. But one of them looks like a British fucking lord, and the other one looks like a German Führer. So it's what it looks like. Like, I will say, though, to prove the Aryan genes are so strong that I literally am like,
I have good news for you, actually.
What?
your other son's name, it is actually Christian. I won't name him, obviously, but it is actually Christian now because there's been saints with that name. So it's technically a Christian name now. There you go.
Yeah, it is a Christian name.
Mm-hmm. Both your kids have Christian names.
Both of them do?
Both of them, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's been saints since that have had that name, so we're confusing the audience. Sorry. I'm not going to
I'm not going to say my kids' names.
Name his kids. Yeah.
All right. I think we end it there.
You want to end it there? Sounds good. Yeah, the other stuff it's nothing else.
There's nothing to talk about. Let's talk about race for a night. All right, we'll be back on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central. If you want to watch the show, we're at 6 p.m. Central.
More content coming out soon. We're getting together tomorrow to plan out the content for the next week and a half, and we're going to have probably at least 2 videos up on YouTube that are produced, and they're telling you some kind of story. So look forward to that on our YouTube channel. It's going to be exclusive to YouTube and locals, most likely. We'll put it on locals too. Maybe an extended unsanitized cut. We'll probably bleep some stuff in the YouTube version, but we'll put out the full version on.
I have a super chat on locals said, "I'm American from Lebanon. If I sit on what the fuck? I have a couple here actually. If I sit on a bus and the black thinks I'm white, then I'm white." End of discussion. By the way, dude, like weird red pill on Lebanese. There's like 2 types of Lebanese, and actually Lebanese are very Orthodox, and I really support that, like 100%. The Orthodox Lebanese culture. It's like actually
are they Coptic?
Kind of, but not really. They're the only Orthodox in Australia, so I kind of like appreciate they brought Orthodoxy to a whole new continent. Kind of like the only like missionaries for Orthodoxy in Australia. I don't know if you know this. They brought Orthodoxy to a whole new continent. So it's kind of based. Like it's like, thank you, Lebanese. And they brought coffee, and that's why we have our best coffee machines because of Lebanese, by the way. So thank you for that.
No, they're Eastern Orthodox like us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I don't know, maybe, but I'm like, they are Eastern. Yeah. And we share the same faith. And I'm going to be red pilled on the Lebanese, and I'm going to think it's like the Persians. I meet a lot of Lebanese people in Australia that I cannot tell are Lebanese, and I think you're white.
We have had one betray us, though.
No. Well, that's what I said. But I've also met Lebanese who I'm like, the fuck is going on with your phenotype, brother?
This guy walked up to our door. I'm not going to name him, but he walked up to our door first time I met him, and I just like slammed it in his face. I saw his phenotype, and I was like, uh-oh. Slammed the door. I thought he was like a lawyer or something, trying to drop off papers or something, like, some bad news. Slammed the door in his face. Then someone had to go to the door and talk to him and be like, oh, no, sorry. He just doesn't like brown people.
What I'm saying is like, Lebanon was always a Christian nation. I'm saying just like Iran, there seems to be a lot of like white Lebanese that I don't know the DNA, but I might consider to even have Aryan genetic backgrounds. A lot of Middle East people that have like Aryan genes, Caucasus type Aryan genes that are very white, maybe a little Arab mixing, kind of like maybe like I said, like how there's like some darker, people in England, there might be a little bit, but there seems to be a lot of white Lebanese particularly. But the Arabs have kind of fucked up the gene pool. I'll be completely honest with that. And I actually do know Lebanese people that I cannot, they're just a little swarthy, but they look very white and they're very Christian, Eastern Orthodox, very friendly. And when you kind of realize that the Persians are Aryans, you kind of change your whole perspective of what's going on.
Yeah, it's an interesting take.
They are, though.
They are, yeah.
They are.
Kalamani had blue eyes, and so does his son, I think,
Yeah.
Kalmani.
Yeah, they're actually Aryan. It has to do with gene haplogroups, dude. It's like, it's not about like
their IQ is 105 on average.
Higher than America.
Mm-hmm. It's because we have Browns, though. We do have a couple more super chats.
Y'all read it.
Did you read the I Just Left Albania one?
Read it.
Mermaid American gave $5. I just left Albania and it felt like a white paradise. No crime, male friends holding hands in public. Ooh, ooh. Not a Kesha in sight. What's wrong with Kesha? And Dua Lipa songs blasting in literally every restaurant. I guess. I prefer, I'm a Kesha man myself.
Rumble, Mr.
Dissident, $5. He says, a party tide now with a little surfer emoji, W. I think we might actually, I think we will make that shirt. Speaking of merch, we do have a very small drop on the way. I don't know. We don't have a time frame yet, but it'll be here for summer at the very least, I believe.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe we did a show tonight about nothing. That was crazy. We just like yapped about nothing. I
Made
told him
it
we could do
work.
it.
It was
I told him we
almost
could
2
do
hours,
it. There was
yeah.
nothing going on. I was like, we can yip about anything, brother.
It's so stressful writing a show with nothing to talk about. I'm like, fuck, it's going to be like a 20-minute show and we're going to get off. But Elijah always finds a way to talk about something. I think we just debated about what is an Aryan for about 30 minutes, and it was good conversation. Hope you liked it.
It was very good. Anyways, follow me on X at Elijah Schaefer. I am Elijah Schaefer.
And I'm at Sith Lord Groiper.
Have a great rest of the week as always. We'll see you next time Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central. May God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.